Hi, folks. Peter Carlos here with your acting tip for the day. The big question, and I get this a lot, is so called method acting dangerous? Look, the quick answer is no. It's like, if I said to you, is a chainsaw dangerous if I gave it to a 10-year-old? Well, yeah, without any practice and without any skill, yeah, it's dangerous, right? But it's not. It's a tool and it's a skill and it's a craft. First of all, we have to define what we mean by method acting. Then we have to talk about what we mean by dangerous. And then we also have to talk about the individual actor. First of all, method acting is used as a general term. It usually traditionally means Lee Strasberg's method. There's a difference between Lee and Stella, but see, people called Brando a method actor, and he only studied with Stella. So method acting usually means someone who, immerses themselves in the character, right? The difference between and this is general, but it's a very basic understanding of it. The difference between Lee and Stella. Stella used to say use a lot of your imagination. Lee would say use something that brings you back from your own life, effective memory, so to speak. It's irrelevant to people what you use. I tell people learn both because you don't know what you're going to use. I'll give you an example. One of the exercises Elite does is to have a morning drink. Now, I tell people who or what is the situation you're having a morning drink with. My father passed away a few months ago. If I have a morning drink with him right now, it's what we call heightened. It matters more. It would churn up more things because it's dad. He passed away. If I did it 2 years ago, he was around. It wasn't such a heightened choice. But then Stella would say, what if dad was sick? What if dad passed away? What if, what if, what if? The skill as to creating both those is the same. It's not enough to just think about them. None of those two teachers said just think. There's a skill and a craft to making those things real. But Stella was based a lot on what if. Now, the other thing they talk about is to immerse yourself in it as the character. I've never been to a prison. I've never been to some, I saw this other show the other day, the world's most dangerous prisons. I've never been to a freaking Russian prison. But if I immersed myself, if I went there and ate the food they ate, built a little corner of my house where I isolated myself, it would start to feed me. I would start to get that mentality. And right now we're in isolation. We're all kind of feeling that sense of isolation. Do you know what I'm saying? So we as so-called method actors put ourselves in the situation, in the mindset of the character, way above just memorizing lines and attitudes. Is it dangerous? Most people tell me, well, I said, what do you mean by dangerous? And they bring up Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger, number one, did not study any of those two practices. I mean, he studies WAP, I don't know what he studied, but the point is this, he didn't die because of the method. He had his own personal issues, a lot of it had to do with addiction, nothing to do with our work, because there are millions, literally millions of actors out there. De Niro uses it, Pacino uses it, so many actors that we know of that are not in danger of using the method and destroying themselves. Do you know what I'm saying? There is a sense of it. And a lot of people use it for therapy. And I always tell people, what we do is not therapy. It's a therapeutic. It's a completely different discussion. But don't use this for therapy. It's not. A lot of people come to the lab and they've already got prior issues and they sit there and they go on it. No. That needs therapy, proper therapy. This is acting. It's a skill and a craft. We use ourselves. We put our heart and soul on in the character, but also we separate ourselves from it. It's a carbon copy of myself. I mess with that carbon copy, and then when I'm done, I get back to being me. I heard a discussion once with, what's his name? Stephen King, the author. I mean, there's a mind. Think about it. If he immersed himself that much in his writing, he wouldn't be able to survive. He'd be out there killing 10 people a day. But he said, the moment I put the pen down, I'm done. He's got a skill and a craft to allow his mind to go to all these dark places. He writes his stuff, and then he gets on with his life. It's like us. We're very, very good with a skill and a craft to go into weird places, and then we come out of it. It's not therapy. We don't do it for that reason, right? And the other issue is this. I tell people all the time, number one, don't bring sand to the beach. Meaning, I don't have to work on my father dying. It's already there. I don't have to work on being a dad. I've got 3 kids. The point is, which one of my kids I pick, that's a skill because they all feed me differently, right? So you don't have to bring sand to the beach. You don't have to bring things. If you already hate your scene partner, just feed off that. If you already are attracted to your scene partner, just work off that. Why substitute, for lack of a better word? The other thing is this, it's taught so badly. When I was at Lee Strasberg Institute, there was 8 teachers there. 3 were amazing, 5 were okay. But 3 were amazing. And here's what made the difference. Don't let an acting teacher get in your head. I don't tell people, who are you having coffee with? Why dad? What did dad do to you? Blah, 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 blah. It's no one's business what's going on up here. That's your business. That's your private information. And there's nothing worse than turning up to an acting class and someone going, well, tell us something about yourself. No, I don't have to tell you anything about myself. It's not one's business. I don't go to a film set, or a director should never ask you, have you been through this? Have you experienced this? It's no one's business. That way also, you then allow yourself to go there. You allow yourself to go there safely, and you come out of it safely. It takes time. It doesn't just happen. Not only that, there's a difference between representing and actually being immersed in it. We actually feel what we create. We feel it. It tricks our body into feeling it. You watch a documentary. I'll give you a perfect example. You can watch a documentary and get emotional. You can watch a film and get really scared, because in that moment, your brain is tricking itself into believing that there's a zombie running after you. That's method acting at its simplest form. We believe we've immersed ourselves in it. So if you learn how to do that, then it becomes a craft, right? Don't let anyone in your head. It's not open for discussion, okay? It's private business. I've seen a lot of acting schools, and they go up to the student and they tell him, and no. A lot of times they do that to show that they can get a result out of you. I've also seen a lot of acting so-called methods. They say, we do the safe method. That statement makes a very big assumption about method acting. And when you make that statement, well, we're teaching the safe method, this poor actor may not get to experience all these amazing tools and skills. And that's what they are. I tell people, they come up to me, they go, I only do this technique. I'm like, shut up. How's your career going? Learn all the skills, learn all the techniques, because one day you might need them. And once again, we don't do this for therapy. That's the job. Our job is to get in there, believe, learn when to let go. When you finish working, when you finish the set, when you finish your scene, it takes time to learn how to let go. It doesn't just happen in 2 seconds. You get into it, you get out of it, and then what happens is it takes time for the body to relax. That's a skill and a craft. That's what I'm saying. You can give us a chainsaw and we know what to do with it because we have a skill, right? If you jump into it and freak yourself out, yeah, you're going to get freaked out. The character is getting freaked out. It's not you. You know what I'm saying? If you're creating something like something scary where someone's chasing you, yeah, that's the character experiencing it. It's not you. And you can learn how to do that and then step away from it, so you're able to function as a human being. Do you know what I'm saying? So when people tell me, oh, I don't want to learn the method because it's dangerous, I address it to them. Why? Well, Hugh Jackman, well, Heath Ledger, what? He had an amazing career, right? And I tell them, do you know any other way? And if you do, that's okay. I don't push any method. I don't push Lee or Stella. I just say, this came from Lee, this came from Stella, and so forth, right? And Meisner and all these things. Do you know any other skill that can get you those results? If you do, knock yourself out. One of my teachers in LA said, if you jump around and 10 times and that works for you, great. That's what you got to do. Do it. If you know another skill, use it. If you don't, learn all these other skills from the method and see how you go with them. Then you know what the hell you're doing. Because if you're one of these people that just talks about, well, the method being dangerous, but then you don't actually have a skill as an actor, then you get caught in all this bullshit politics. And the worst thing to do as an actor is to get caught in politics. We're not here to get caught in politics. We're here to do our work. And I will use whatever skill I need. You will use whatever skill you need. Part of the method, by the way, is playing songs to make you feel a certain way. You can play a happy song or a sad song. You do that every day without thinking. You see people breaking up and they play one song over and over again. That's the method right there. They're not dangerous. They're fine. Separate you from the work. And like I said, one way to do it is to imagine there's a carbon copy of you. So it's that carbon copy of you going through the process, and learn that it's a skill and a craft to get into it. It's a skill and a craft to get out of it. And you will feel things. But it's not you feeling things. It's the character. And finally, zip your mouth. No one's business what you're using. Learn all the tools in the shed. Become a master of your craft. And let others get involved in all the politics about who and what. Who gives a shit? Get your work done. Forget everything else. Talk later.